Hi, welcome to Pictures, Noise and Words. I'm Hedgie.
I'm Paz.
And Paz is back. This is Vexor Void. I had an email from Gerald De Los Reyes, basically saying he's a big fan of Vector, and I did some Vector videos and found them to be like really good stuff. Vector more or less split up. I know the main guy from Vector is still going, and I guess he's going to put another Vector together. I don't know that, I'm just guessing. So Gerald said try Vexor Void, who I guess are in the same sort of genre ballpark as Vector. And now I have seen that. I've seen about 5 seconds of this because I had to go and look at the video to make sure it was a video. And the 5 seconds I heard, it does sound a bit Vector, but who knows? Go all over the place, these songs. So yeah, Gerald, thanks for a recommendation. So it's nice to have them. Otherwise, I'd be sat here wondering what on earth to do with myself.
He has no hobbies except for this.
Yeah, this is it. This is my life. It's sad but true.
I don't know this at all.
No,
I've never heard it. I like the name. I like the artwork.
Vexor Void, yes, and they've got obviously this album. Let me just click over to the right screen, which would help. So yeah, Call of the Starforger. I mean, you probably can't see it very well on your screens because it's quite small. But go and look at the artwork. It's pretty cool, and it kind of reminds me of something, but I can't put my finger on it.
I've got an album cover that looks very similar to that, but I can't remember what it is.
So,
that was pointless me saying that. Anyway, should we crack on?
So this is a song called Infinite Collector. It's from Call of the Starforger. Vector's songs were like interstellar, alien story type stuff, and it looks like this is the same. So maybe we're going to get another Vector completely. In fact, the first comment, I'm just looking, the first comment under under this video on YouTube is "Thank you for keeping the spirit of Vector alive." So we're in Vector territory, completely. Let's just get going. No, you don't want to move it there, mate.
Let's walk apart for vitality.
pause it there. Hang on. It collects things infinitely.
What? Infinite collector. Why are we here?
Well, I know why are we here.
Yeah.
Why are those people there watching? Why are they here? For our keen insight into, oh yeah, there's a collector.
It's got a big job on if it's infinite, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's collecting infinite stuff.
Honestly, it's never ending. Yeah, I haven't got the lyrics, so I'm not entirely sure, how it all fits together. My guess is, though, that this album fits together in some way. I don't think this is an album of disparate songs. I think this is an album of where it's a story of some kind, and I may be completely wrong. I've been wrong before.
It was all right. Didn't float my boat. I must admit. I think the production was lacking a little bit of bottom end, and maybe it's just these headphones, but the guitars are quite grating a lot in the middle. Very dry, middling sound, and I think you need it to get across the riffs that they were intricate riffs they were putting through, about they were playing. But I don't know. There was not much wrong with it. I don't think it floated my boat.
The sound of it that you're referring to is an 80s, I think, like an 80s thrash sound that's got that. They've only polished it up as much as they wanted to, kind of thing. And when that's the kind of sound we're going for. And the reason I say that, if I'd heard this on its own, I would have said, yeah. And I don't disagree anyway. I'm not disagreeing with you. Well, because it sounds so much like Vector, that I think it's the sound they've aimed for.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
It's almost like, I mean, I don't know that, but it sounds so much like Vector that I can't believe it's a coincidence that they sound like that. They didn't both press the wrong button on whatever mixing tool they're using, and both came out like that. I think it's the sound they've aimed for, because it's got the same vocal style. It's got that, and everything about it. It's not. I mean, this is only one song, so it's not fair, but it's not as big and complicated as Vector was, because that surprised me. That because you thought you was getting one thing and then off it went in another direction, whereas this was kind of you got what you're getting, Whether a whole album though might just be exhausting to listen to, but I know what you mean. It lacks depth. The sound lacks depth, but I think that's a sound they've aimed for.
Intentional.
Not very just up there, just high, just just everything up high in.
Yeah, because I think that sound probably works for the type of riffs they were playing. Those type of riffs they were playing, if you had really down-tuned stuff, probably wouldn't work. You probably couldn't pick it out because there's so much bottom end.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I don't dislike it. To be honest, there's very few things I actually dislike. But yeah, I wouldn't rush out and buy it. Because the sound is that particular sound and it's not my favourite kind of sound, but two, it's I don't know, it's kind of, it's not Vector. that's a terrible thing to say, but it yeah, I guess they sound so much like Vector, and this has come from a recommendation from someone who's saying, you liked Vector, listen to these, and I get it, but it makes them so much like Vector that you can't help but make a direct comparison, and they're not. On one song, let's be clear, but on one song they're not quite what Vector was, which had that sound, but I just found a bit sort of eye-popping. It was like, wow. So yeah, Voxovoid.
But to say there's nothing wrong with what they did. The guitar playing was great. The drummer was off the charts. I thought what he was doing was really good. and it's just a personal thing. It just seemed to lack a hook somewhere. It seemed to charge along really well without really hooking me in, and it's a personal thing because not everyone likes the same kind of hooks. But for me, it just didn't have a.
I think any hook that existed was in the guitars because they did have some, for me, like more interesting guitar parts than, you know, it could have all been one thing, and it wasn't. It had the recurring sort of riff theme, but his vocals, those vocals don't lend themselves to melodies, do they?
No.
It's about shouting across,
Which
shouting
doesn't-
the lyrics out.
But you can have the shouting and have guitar hooks underneath.
Yeah.
Death metal sort of shows you that. Well, this I wasn't getting any hooks from that sound.
The other thing that I think is hard is if it's done at pace. That's another thing that stops you from pulling out a melody sometimes. And this has got, you know, all of those things that fight against melodies, you know.
Yeah.
So
I'd use the word, perhaps it's quite niche then, a niche part of.
Yeah, I am not aware of, but I was thinking, is there a little tiny subgenre of space metal, space thrash, and that's what it sounds like, because it sounds so much like Vector. Am I unaware that there's yet another little tiny niche that is just space thrash? I don't know, science fiction thrash or something. And this is what it sounds like. It charges along, helium-fueled vocals. And yeah, and go. You know, I don't know, but it certainly has an audience, I'm sure. So yeah, like I say, it's not like I disliked it, and I think if it came on my iPod on random, I'd be all right with it, you know. But I can't imagine listening to a whole album of that. But it's just a personal. It'd be too much all of the time if the whole album sounds like this, sort of thing. But having said that, I'm going to keep going here. It's going to be 20 minutes, as it always is. Having said that, I did listen to the Vector album a few times. I quite enjoyed that, and that blasts along as well. So there's something. This isn't Vector. There's something that stops this from being Vector. Hopefully, Vector will get back together. I had a really nice message from the drummer of Vector, or ex-drummer of Vector, just, you know, thanking us for the video, saying, you know, thanks, really means a lot, and that sort of thing really means a lot to me. So I was, Vector, got a soft spot for them. Anyway, yeah. What do you think? Is there a little subgenre called space thrash or something that I'm unaware of? Let us know. See you soon. Bye bye.